Hello everyone, how are you? So I want to talk a little bit about the laws pertaining to Tisha Beav. Tisha Beav this year is going to fall on Shabbat, this Shabbat actually. And as we talked before, of course, Shabbat we cannot fast. So we are going to postpone the fast for Motza'ei Shabbat. Yes, from Motza'ei Shabbat until Sunday evening. So there are 5 things that are prohibited on Tisha Be'av: eating and drinking, washing oneself, rubbing one's body with oils or body lotion, wearing leather shoes, and marital relations. Our sages also prohibited learning Torah on Tisha B'Av, for the words of the Torah gladden the heart. And the only portion that are actually permitted is to learn into the book of Beav, or the prophecies regarding the destruction of the temple in the book of Irmiah, and midrashim regarding the destruction of the temple, the laws of mourning, and the like. So on Erev Tisha B'Av, one may only eat until close to sunset. Of course, this year we have the Shabbat. So Shabbat is a completely normal day, normal Shabbat. We're not keeping any kind of mourning on Shabbat. We don't prepare ourselves for Motza'ei Shabbat. We don't prepare ourselves for mourning. We don't do Seudat Mafseket, okay? On Erev Tisha B'Av, one may eat only until close to sunset. The 5 categories of abstinence we have mentioned above take effect beginning from sunset. So what we cannot do on Tisha B'Av itself? Yes, one may not wash his body on Tisha B'Av, either with hot water or cold, or his entire body, or just partially. One may not even stick his finger into water. On the morning of Tisha B'Av, one should wash his hands only until here, his knuckles, the way he wishes he washes the rest of the year. 3 times on each hand, while switching of hands, and recite the blessing Al Netilat Yadayim. So we only wash until here, and we do the same thing. We take the vessel with the right hand gives it to the left hand starts to pour 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so if we need to use the restroom, of course, we should wash the hands in the same way, only until his knuckles. And when we wash we cannot wash our face in the morning, but we can use the wet fingers to just wash a little bit to just remove the slip from the face. And we can do that and brush them over the eyes. If one has eye residue or any other filth in or around his eyes, one may wash the dirty area. And if one is extremely concerned about his personal hygiene and does not feel at ease with himself if he does not wash his face in the morning, he may indeed wash his face in the morning of Tisha B'Av. A new bride who is still within the 30 days of her wedding may wash her face in the morning of Tisha B'Av, so that she does not become repulsive to her husband. So of course the bride is something else. Regarding the fast of 17 of Tammuz and other such public fast, it is extremely difficult for one to obtain for brushing his teeth on the morning of the fast. He may be lenient and brush his teeth while taking care not to swallow even a drop of water. Additionally, one must take care not to put a revi'it, 81 milliliters of water, into his mouth at once. Nevertheless, on Tisha B'Av, one should not be lenient. We should be stricter and not do this. But if one suffers, yes, immensely without doing so, or someone suffers from bad breath, in which case we can be lenient on condition that one dips his mouth downwards like this, in order that the water not reach his throat, in addition to the aforementioned condition. Unfortunately, we cannot discuss the reasoning for each of these laws at length. It's impossible. So We have already discussed that one may not wear freshly laundered garment during the week during which Tisha B'Av falls out. Thus one must wear any garment which he intends to wear during these days before this week begins to approximately an hour. And this way the garment will not be considered freshly laundered anymore, and it is permissible to wear it. So we have to prepare ourselves. Of course, the Ashkenazi custom is to do that from Rosh Chodesh until 9th of Av. The Sephardi custom is to do that only in the week that Tisha B'Av falls upon, and on Tisha B'Av itself, yes. And the question is, if for whatever reason someone forgot to prepare clothing for this week or for these 9 days, if there is any way to permit to wear a freshly laundered garment during this week, and the answer is the answer is that the Sefer Lechem HaPanim writes in the name of a Gaon Maharash of Lublin that if one leaves the garment for a short while on uncovered earth, one may wear this garment during the week during which Tisha B'Av falls on, as this is not considered a freshly laundered garment. And Maran Arav, of course, Rav Ovadia Yosef writes that in a situation where one forgets to prepare clothing for this week, he may rely on this opinion to allow wearing clothing on this way, but this is not done from the beginning. We have to prepare, and we have to be prepared for this day, only in case that this didn't happen. Another important questions of who needs to fast on 9th of Av. So one who is ill, meaning when one is actually in bed and the like, even if the illness is not life-threatening, is exempt from fasting of Tisha B'Av. When in doubt about one's status, one should always consult a rabbi. Of course, you can call a rabbi and ask, but aches and pains such as the common headache and the like are not grounds to accept one from fasting or Tisha B'Av. Of course, if a person is going to faint now, Chas v'Shalom, if he has these headaches, then you are not, and especially this year that 9th of Av actually is postponed for 10th of Av. An elderly person who is weakened by fasting is considered ill for all intents and purposes and is exempt from fasting on Tisha B'Av. Even if he has no internal illness, he must nevertheless eat on Tisha B'Av. There is a dispute among the poskim regarding the status of a woman who just recently given birth. Regarding a woman who has given birth within the past 7 days, all opinions agree that she's exempt from fasting on Tisha B'Av. However, if she has given birth more than 7 days ago, but she's still within the 30 days of giving birth, several poskim are of the opinion that she must act stringency and fast on Tisha B'Av. However, Rav Ovadia Yosef Zecher Tzaddik Bracha rules that as long as the woman is within 30 days of giving birth, she is exempt from fasting. The same applies to a woman who, God forbid, miscarries following at least 40 days of pregnancy. And of course, although pregnant and nursing women are exempt from all public fasts besides Yom Kippur, they are nevertheless obligated to fast on 9th of Av. Nevertheless, on years during which Tisha B'Av falls on Shabbat and the fast is postponed until Sunday, such as this year, Maran Rabbeinu Ovadia Yosef rules that pregnant and nursing women are exempt from the fast on Tisha B'Av. He proceeds to support this with sources and proof to his opinion, and I know many rabbis that agree with this opinion, even though are actually Ashkenazi rabbis, that if the fast is postponed, and that it's not such an obligation as to when the fast will fall on a normal weekly day. Children, meaning a boy who has not reached 13 years of age and a girl who has not reached 12 years of age, are completely exempt from fasting on Tisha B'Av. The reason why children are exempt from participating in fast is because children are exempt from all the laws of mourning in any case. Indeed, if God forbid the child loses a parent, he need not mourn at all. For the mitzvah of educating children does not apply here, besides for the law of rending the child garment, which does apply. Any boy who has not reached the age of 13 or a girl who has not reached the age of 12 is completely exempt from the fast, and they need not even fast for several hours. Now I want to talk a little bit about what we need to do this year, because that 9th of Av is going to fall on Shabbat. So on Motza'ei Shabbat, we usually have to do Havdala. So what do we do? So there are a few opinions. The first opinion is that of the Geonim, who write that one should recite Havdala only at the conclusion of the fast, Sunday night, before sitting down to eat. The second opinion is that of the author of Sefer Aminag, who writes that one should recite Havdala on Motza'ei Shabbat and have a child who is not obligated to fast during the wine. And the third opinion is that of the Rambam, who writes that Havdala is not recited at all. For the Gemara writes that originally, Gemara Masechet Brachot 33a writes that originally Havdala was instituted as part of the Arvit prayer. The Jewish nation then became wealthy, and our sages enacted that if it be recited over a cup of, it will be recited over a cup of wine. However, on Tisha B'Av, which falls on Motza'ei Shabbat, the entire nation is considered utterly destitute, and the poskim discuss the varying opinions of the Rishonim and length. Of course, Maran Shulchan Aruch rules in accordance with the opinion of the Geonim that Havdala should be recited at the conclusion of the fast. We ruled in accordance with Maran, whose ruling we have accepted. Yes, most Am Israel accepted the Shulchan Aruch upon themselves. So it is customary to recite Havdala at the conclusion of the fast, essentially breaking the fast on wine. Nevertheless, immediately on the onset of the fast on Motza'ei Shabbat, although Havdala is not recited on a cup of wine, one must still recite Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh Lechol in order to make it permissible to do work. So, we do know that on Motza'ei Shabbat, usually in the Ma'ariv prayer, we have an additional prayer that it's called Ata Korentanu, which actually saying this prayer, or whoever doesn't pray on Ma'ariv should say Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh Lechol when Shabbat is out. And with this, we are permitted to do any kind of melacha. Yeah, we can drive, we can light the lights in the house and do all the stuff, but we are still not permitted to eat and drink until we don't do the normal halacha, normal Havdala. Sorry. So on Motza'ei Shabbat, because we are not permitted to eat and drink anyways, yes, we still have to do Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh Lechol, yes, and Borei Pninei Besamim, blessing is not recited on a fragrant object at the conclusion, not even on the conclusion of Tisha B'Av, even more so on Motza'ei Shabbat, for fragrant objects are not brought to a mourner house since they are meant for pleasure. And the same applies on Tisha B'Av. One must recite the Borei Meorei Esh, blessing on a candle, on Motza'ei Shabbat, which coincides with Tisha B'Av. It is customary for the rabbi or chazan to recite this blessing in a synagogue before the reading of the Eicha. But of course, women who do not attend synagogue on Motza'ei Shabbat must recite the Borei Meorei Esh blessing on a candle at home. An ill individual who must eat on Tisha B'Av, and as we have discussed above, must first recite Havdala on a cup of wine before eating on Tisha B'Av, for one may not eat that the Shabbat has ended until one has performed Havdala. So the ill individual must therefore recite Havdala on a cup of wine or grape juice and drink it as one would on any Motza'ei Shabbat. An ill individual reciting Havdala on a cup of wine may do so on behalf of the members of the household as he would, or any Motza'ei Shabbat, and they will fulfill their obligation of hearing Havdala. So if someone in your house doesn't fast because of the sickness, this person can perform Havdala for everybody in the house, and he will drink the wine while everybody else is going to listen. So remember, we still have to do the blessing on the candle, yes, and of course on Motza'ei Shabbat, on Motza'ei Tisha B'Av, 9th of Av, when the fast is out, we have to do Havdala on the wine, on the glass of wine, and only after that we are permitted to eat and drink. I wish you a meaningful fast, and I really hope we're not going to fast this year. Yes, that the Mashiach is going to come, temple is going to be here very soon, and remember that we have many things that we are not allowed to do in this day, even though we are allowed to do melacha. Yes, we are not allowed to do many things, and there is a custom also to sort of like prepare the house for the coming of the temple, of the coming of the Mashiach, and to clean after the middle of the day. And another thing that people usually do, they don't sleep on their beds. They sometimes sleep on the floor, on a mattress, or less pillows if you usually use more than one pillow. And we try not to be very comfortable in this day. I wish you a meaningful fast, and we will meet on our next class. Have a great day.